approached the Federal High Court to ask that his seat be vacated.
Okay. Now, are there political implications, for both the APC and the new platform he hopes to run on?
Well, political implications in the sense that having left APC as a servant governor, it's going to really be very difficult for APC, except they conduct free and fair primaries to produce another candidate. And also, Obaseki being the incumbent governor, of course, APC must have been deprived of some party loyalists. And Governor Obaseki is not going to find it easy as it stands to join any other political party, because for him to win in Ondo State on another platform, not APC, it has to be a very, very strong political party which has a strong hold in Ondo State. And also you should know that all these years that Obaseki has been governor of APC, there are people who have been running these other political parties. And of course they will have interests, and they also have party stakeholders as well. So except the party of which he's going to join, which obviously must be a very popular one, a party who is known for winning elections, and a party who is capable financially to give APC a fight, because it's not going to be an easy one. Then the party also has to give him sort of waiver, because joining the party at this point is not going to be very easy. He has to meet some or make some compromises, as well as the party also has to make some compromises.
Okay. Now, of course, we'll all be expecting free and acceptable, voluntary and acceptable elections in Ondo State. What is happening? How do you see the elections in Ondo State?
Oh, well, I want to believe the present INEC will be capable of delivering a free and fair election in the first place, but I am certain it's not going to be very easy to say, because these political parties they have members, and a governor who left his party must have left it not on a good form. He must have been aggrieved somehow. So there are also supporters who are aggrieved as well. But with the machineries that will be put in place, with the security apparatus that will be put in place, I believe there will be a free and fair election in Ondo State.
Thank you very much, Barrister Isaac Mwachukwu. That will be all. Thanks for honoring our invitation.
Thank you very much.
Now, the Nigerian Army Courts Martial, headed by the Chief of Training and Operations, Lieutenant General Lamidi Adeosun, has pronounced former GOC 8th Division Nigerian Army Sokoto Major General Hakeem Otiki guilty of 5 count charges. Francis Form reports.
The former general officer commanding 8th Division Sokoto was accused of stealing 100 million naira. The money was part of the 160 million naira released to the division by the Nigerian Army as Special Army Release Funds for execution of project in the 8th Division. Delivering judgment on the matter, President of the Nigerian Court Martial, Lieutenant General Lamidi Adeosun, said the court found General Otiki guilty of all the 5 counts charges, punishable under Section 66A of the Armed Forces Act, Laws of the Federation. He thereafter pronounces the court's decision.
Count 5. 2 years loss of seniority on the rank of Major General. Count 3. Reduction to the rank of Brigadier General with 2 years seniority on the rank. Count 2. Sentence. Dismissal with disgrace and dishonor.
Counsel to General Otiki reacts to the judgment.
It was confirmed that the soldiers robbed. He was not the one. Even the 100 million was returned even before the investigation by the SIB. He was the one who reported the test. So all these ones, we will put them together as mitigating factors before the Army Council.
The judgment of the court martial is subject to the ratification by the confirming authorities. In Abuja, Francis Form, NTA News.
The renewed onslaught against the activities of bandits in Katsina State is yielding positive results as the State Police Command apprehended no fewer than 50 suspected bandits terrorizing 8 frontline local government areas in the state. State Commissioner of Police Sanusi Buba, who paraded the suspects, called on the public to always furnish the police with useful information so as to address armed banditry activities in the state. Shehu Adamu completes the story.
For quite some time, the resurgence of banditry in some local government areas of Katsina State has led to destruction of properties and rendering others homeless. The recent areas affected by the activities of armed bandits include some communities in Dusamma, Damusa, Faskari, Batsari, Safana and Jibe local government areas of Katsina State. The State Police Commissioner Sanusi Buba said of a review of its strategies, the command had succeeded in apprehending over 50 suspected armed bandits. CP Sanusi Buba disclosed that the command has declared wanted one Adamu, also known as Nkuzu, from Zamfara State, for masterminding the recent attack on Kaidisau village.
I hereby place the sum of 5 million naira on his head, dead or alive. Any person or group of persons that have useful information that may lead to his arrest, to please report to the nearest police station.
The police commissioner also disclosed that the command has recovered items to include 10 AK-47 rifles, 5 pistols, 25 locally made guns, 5 vehicles, and 20 motorcycles. In Katsina, Shehu Adamu, NTA News.
It's now time to pause here in Abuja as we join Ruth in Lagos for more reports.
Hello, Ifoma. Some commercial transporters who work on interstate routes from Lagos have lamented the implications of the ban on interstate travel on their income, urging government to provide a bailout for the operators before the pandemic lockdown is totally lifted. Nosa Osula x-rays the economic impact of the ban on interstate travel and the transportation sector.
The embargo on interstate transportation has exposed many categories of business persons, especially long-distance bus operators, to untold economic hardships.
We represent over 90% of the movement of Nigeria. We convey well over 3.5 million persons on a daily basis. We have members who have 2,000 buses, 100. So they can imagine someone who's had 2,000 buses and been out of work for like a month or two.
The effect has been very, very heavy on us that are transport owners. You know, we really had a very big loss both on our businesses and our passengers.
Commending the concerted efforts by the federal government, they however argued that road transportation, which is the nation's most popular means of movement, should not be allowed to be one of the casualties of the global scourge.
Let businesses, interstate operation, function with control, with guidelines, with protocols to ensure that transmission of COVID-19 doesn't continue.
Government would also give us intervention funds. We have the Urban Development Bank, the Central Bank. Funds could be domiciled in these institutions so that we can access them, and when we begin operation, we can use this fund to revitalize our operations.
They added that government should consider the fact that when the prohibition on interstate passenger transportation is lifted, they are still going to face the challenge of observing social distancing, which means carrying fewer passengers and its effects on the recovery of their business. In Lagos, Nosa Osula, NTA News.
Fund managers have been challenged to stay innovative in their operations as the traditional method of banking gravitates towards near extinction. Abolade Salami examines the place of infotech in the new scheme of things.
A 2018 report from the World Economic Forum on Future of Work states that by 2022, about 75 million traditional accounting jobs will be lost to technology, while about 93% chartered accountant jobs will be be taken over by technological changes caused by fourth industrial revolution. However, with the outbreak of COVID-19 pandemic, the world is experiencing a major shake-up in crude oil price, global trade, and price of stocks. The financial service is not also spared.
If we do not retool and re-strategize to embrace the new ways of doing things, indeed, the choice is ours to make. The advice to the chartered accountant today is to embrace technology or we die. New skill sets are now required as a result of digital disruptions.
The new initiatives on technological developments being practiced by financial institutions before the outbreak of the pandemic, experts agreed will redefine the banking system.
Fintech, of course, has come to stay. You don't have to have a bank account to transact these days. You can transfer your money through different digital means, including what we now call the PSB.
It's all about bank being an IT platform more than what they used to be. So COVID-19 is here and it has changed the way we work. It has redefined our economy.
Preserving the future of the profession, experts say, is largely based on the acquisition of required skill sets and competence as a result of digital disruptions, urging on practitioners to do more on self-development. In Lagos, Abolade Salami, NTA News.
And that's it from here. We pause for a break. Nationwide continues with Ifoma in Abuja.
I wish to once again commend the frontline workers across the country who, on a daily basis, risk everything to ensure we win this fight. For those who got infected in the line of duty, rest assured that government will do all it takes to support you and your families during this exceedingly difficult period. I will also take this opportunity to assure you all that your safety, well-being, and welfare remains paramount to our government. I am using this opportunity to express our deepest condolences.
Thanks for staying tuned. In what may be described as adding salt to injury, attention is now on 3-month-old baby in Nasarawa State, suffering from the consequences of rampant rape cases in Nigeria as the victims' traumatized families seek for help and justice. Abigail Bashi reports.
3-month-old baby Rukaya Ali, innocent and lying down on her mother's lap, oblivious of the rape case in her life. Her parents too are unaware of the perpetrator of the evil act, as the mother admits on the day of the incidents, deep into the night, the baby was snatched from her side. I started calling for help. All is now history. The baby was later found in an abandoned building. Little patient Rukaya has been recommended for a major surgery following 2 successful ones in the next 2 weeks. But doctors are on strike and treatment may be stalled as the family seeks for help. Nasarawa State First Lady Hajia Silifat Abdullahi Sule is assisting to offset medical bills and pursue justice for the victim. Her representative, Muhammad Musa Akwanga, delivered the message in Jos, where Rukaya Ali was taken for medical attention at the Jos University Teaching Hospital. In Lafia, Abigail Bashi, NTA News.
Meanwhile, following the spate of rape and gender-based violence being recorded in the country recently, Nigerian women are advocating domestication of the Child Rights Act by all states across the Federation in order to facilitate protection of the Nigerian child from every form of abuse. Elizabeth Omori reports that this was the position of a group during a peaceful march against rape in Abuja.
Rape, a global crime, medical experts say destroys the emotional and psychological being of the victim. Latest report from the Nigeria Police indicates that 717 cases of rape have been recorded within 5 months in Nigeria. The figure has been generating reactions from different quarters. The latest efforts at curtailing the incidences of rape is this peaceful march by the Nigerian Female Youth Council. The aim is to draw the attention of government, security agencies, and the society on the need to collaborate in the fight against rape, which is fast threatening the freedom of women and girls.
To have experts to train Nigerian police, we are going to do that free to tell you how it's paining us. Train them when they see rape cases, how they will follow it up.
For justice, like Vera and co, we are asking the Nigerian police and the federal government to ensure that the perpetrators are brought to book. No matter what is going to take, they should ensure that they are brought to book.
As the group marched through the streets of Abuja, they made a stop at the Ministry of Women Affairs, where the minister assured them of federal government's support.
This war is a societal war. It's not just a war for the Ministry of Women Affairs. It is a societal problem and must be addressed as such. Mr. President has also approved the launch of a national campaign. This national campaign is to educate, advocacy, sensitization, and involvement of people from the highest to the least.
Mrs. Stalin reiterated that the ministry is working tirelessly with relevant government agencies to curb rape and gender-based violence.
Enough is enough! Enough is enough! Enough is enough!
In Abuja, Elizabeth Omori, NTA News.
One of the challenges confronting the Nigerian child is the protection of their fundamental human rights. Oftentimes, the average Nigerian child faces challenges of sexual abuse, domestic violence, among others. How has the rights of the child been protected? And what is the position of the Child Rights Act in our society? Simbiat Agbaji examines the level of implementation of the Child Rights Act in Benue State vis-a-vis challenges confronting the Nigerian child as the global community marks Day of the African Child.
I want the government to provide money for my parents so that they can pay my school fees.
I said around because I want to help my aunties.
These are the challenges confronting the Nigerian child today as they hawk as teenagers without having access to the basic necessities of life, such as quality education, shelter, amongst others. Other challenges facing the Nigerian child is lack of food, child rape, molestation, and abduction.
When we hear of this child abuse, we swiftly move to the place and get hold of the child, then call the perpetrator to order.
However, with the passage of the Child Rights Act and its domestication in Benue State, which is intended to tackle the challenges confronting these little ones, to what extent has it impacted on the society?
The Child Rights Law was passed in 2008. It is not being implemented. Even the family code that was supposed to be constituted to determine cases that concern the Benue child, the family code is not put in place, it's not constituted, or it is not sitting.
On the way forward, it is the views of various stakeholders that all hands must be on deck from both parents and the government to work out modalities to ensure that these little children's rights are being protected in order to guarantee their future. In Makurdi, Simbiat Agbaji, NTA News.
Chairman of Nigerians in Diaspora Commission, Abike Dabiri Erewa, has described the alleged mother of 19-year-old Nigerian-American activist Toyin Salau in the U.S. as highly depressing and cruel. In a statement, the chairman urges government to conduct a thorough investigation on the circumstances leading to Ms. Salau's death. Toyin Salau, a 19-year-old lady of Nigerian origin, was found dead days after she was declared missing in Florida, the United States. Salau was said to have sent on her Twitter handle that she was sexually assaulted before she died. And Agatha in our Benin studio has more reports for us on Nationwide. Hello, Agatha.
Good afternoon and a warm welcome to Benin.
Governor Oluwarotimi Akeredolu of Ondo State has promised total overhaul of the state fire service. This was when he inspected the level of damage at Obanla, the commercial nerve center of Akure, the state capital, after the fire outbreak that destroyed houses, shops and electronics worth millions of naira. Abiola Ario reports that the governor expressed displeasure at the slow response by men of the fire service.
Governor said he has directed the State Emergency Management Agency to assess the extent of damage for adequate compensation. The fire, according to eyewitness accounts, occurred when residents living around the market raised alarm, but efforts to put out the fire were unsuccessful, as the inferno burnt down 5 houses, over 20 shops, with goods and other valuables worth millions of naira.
It was around 8:30 and I was trying to look for the owner of the shop. I didn't see anybody. The fire was so much to the extent that I was even sharing tears.
The victims alleged that the state fire services did not respond to distress call, and this accounted for the level of destruction.
We went to fire service if they can be able to help us to quench the light. Unfortunately, they said they don't have water, that their motor broke down.
No life was lost in the incident. In Akure, Abiola Ario, NTA News.
And medical services at the University of Benin Teaching Hospital, UBTH, are in full swing despite industrial action by the resident doctors. Ifeoma Okafor reports on the situation at the hospital.
At University of Benin Teaching Hospital, where one of the state's isolation centers for COVID-19 is located, normal activities are going on. From the outpatient department to the wards, patients are being given attention.
They are working. The consultants are working. I'm on appointment today, and she gave me an appointment to come today, and then she attended to me, and I'll be booked against the next appointment now.
Professor Omokwa Adeleye is the chairman Medical Advisory Committee, Research and Ethics of the hospital.
In the circumstance, the consultants have been made to be more available and to be on alert and to be able to respond to the needs as much as possible. So while we feel the pinch of resident doctors being on strike, we are also doing our best to make sure that the services are going on as much as possible.
As the COVID-19 cases keep soaring in Edo State, citizens are appealing for prompt resolution of the strike action so that resident doctors will go back to work. In Benin, Ifeoma Okafor, NTA News.
That's our package. Ifeoma, it's back to you for more reports on Nationwide.
Thank you, Agatha. The federal government says it is streamlining the value chain of the power sector to key into the recovery program to deliver 11,000 megawatts of electricity to Nigerians by 2023. Joshua Ojito reports that Minister of State for Power, Godi Jediagba, is meeting with agencies and key players in the sector to realize this goal.
Electricity supply is being delivered along the 3 value chain of generation, transmission and distribution. However, their services are being impaired with challenges resulting in inadequate power supply. With the Power Sector Recovery Program launched by the federal government to address the challenges, the Ministry of Power is meeting agencies and key players on implementation of the program.
Right now, government is probing that aspect with a view to streamlining it and improving services of both transmission, generation, and distribution. I assure you that at the end of this exercise, you will see improvements in this power generation project.
Rural Electrification Agency is supporting the initiative with the off-grid power project to energize rural communities, where the Nigerian Electricity Management Services Agency, NEMSA, is strengthening its campaign against substandard electrical installations.
We do monitoring too of premises to ensure that they are not within the right of way of power lines, to ensure safety.
We are also keying into the Siemens project, the Presidential Power Initiative, to come up with blueprint in how to really harness Nigerians human capital, whereby we ensure that at the end of the day We handhold, the project. We handhold the training facilities.
So essentially what we like to do is to continue to promote private sector investment.
The engagement continues with other key players in the power sector so as to improve electricity supply in the country. In Abuja, Joshua Ojito, NTA News.
The federal government has promised to sustain its transformation of the Nigerian Correctional Service. Minister of Interior Rauf Aregbesola conveyed the commitment during the inauguration of newly procured operational vehicles for the service. Victor Azu reports.
There seems to be no end in sight to the reformation of the Nigerian Correctional Service. Apart from the name change from the Nigerian Prison Service, the last 5 years have seen a change in the fortunes of the service.
To the glory of God, I commission.
This time, the Nigerian Correctional Service is inaugurating 59 new operational vehicles, consisting 36 mini Green Maria vehicles, 18 escort duty vehicles, and 5 customized Green Maria vehicles. The human and infrastructural development strides already recorded notwithstanding, the Controller General of Corrections is yearning for more.
The Nigerian Correctional Service has not had it so good in recent history. Nevertheless, the service still needs more vehicles to meet the expected targets of conveying inmates almost on daily basis to well over 5,000 courts spread across the country.
Minister of Interior Rauf Aregbesola, however, wants the service to be prudent in using the vehicles while assuring of government's continued support.
We must be prudent and highly considerate in the use of anything that we have. I wish to, however, assure you all that the federal government shall continue to take steps to improve the conditions of inmates in the custodial centers in line with global best practices.
This is the second time in 1 year that the Nigerian Correctional Service will be welcoming new operational vehicles. The first raised the bar in service delivery. Now this here is expected to take it a notch higher. From the Nigerian Correctional Service headquarters in Abuja, Victor Azu, NTA News.
And our next stop on Nationwide is Port Harcourt, where Dibabari is standing by.
Welcome to Port Harcourt. The Association of Resident Doctors, University of Port Harcourt Teaching Hospital, UPTH, has dissociated themselves from the ongoing nationwide strike. President of the association, Ame Samuel Ame, made this known at a press briefing in Port Harcourt. Kingsley Amajiri reports.
The National Association of Resident Doctors had on Monday commenced a nationwide strike, citing shortage of personal protective equipment and poor salary payment are reasons for the strike action. However, doctors at the University of Port Harcourt Teaching Hospital, UPTH, have dissociated themselves from the strike. President of the Association of Resident Doctors, UPTH, Dr. Ame Samuel, says their decision is based on the alarming increase of COVID-19 in the state.
We realize that health workers, not just doctors, but all health workers, are playing an essential role in helping to stem the tide of the COVID-19. It won't be in the best interest of the general population right now, especially those in River State, to embark on this strike.
Chief Medical Director of the hospital, Professor Henry Arinze Uboma, assured that the hospital will not shut down, but will continue to attend to patients with the virus, notwithstanding the strike.
The health workers are ready, ushered away from the front, and that is why the national strike called by the National Association of Resident Doctors, we are not part of it, and we cannot be part of it.
The doctors are, however, appealing to the relevant authorities to provide more personal protective kits to fight the deadly virus. In Port Harcourt, Kingsley Amajiri, NTA News.
Sustaining grassroots sensitization and enlightenment on the measures put in place by relevant authorities is to contain further spread of coronavirus. Hence, the National Orientation Agency, Akwa Ibom State, has stepped up its statewide campaign to rural communities to educate the rural dwellers on the need to comply with the necessary precautions to stay safe. Udwak Etim reports that PPEs and foodstuff were also distributed to the people in different communities within the state.
In continuation of the statewide sensitization campaign to curb community transmission of coronavirus, the National Orientation Agency, Akwa Ibom State, took its campaign to Ikoreswa and other communities in 18 and local government area to educate rural dwellers on the need to adhere strictly to the precautionary measures put in place by health authorities and governments. The agency also distributed relief materials to the rural dwellers.
The information that we've gotten, we are going to spread it. Thank you for the gift, and God bless all of you.
Thanks, National Orientation Agency. A gift.
At various locations, the National Orientation Agency emphasized that coronavirus is real and encouraged the people to comply with necessary precautions for their safety.
Wearing a face mask alone cannot prevent COVID-19. In addition to the mask, wash your hands frequently with soap.
We make sure people use their face mask.
For the agency to achieve the needed goal was as a result of effective collaboration with Unique Friends and Intimate Ladies Associations from 18 and local government area of Akwa Ibom State. Uduak Etam, NTA News.
And that does it from here. Is back to Informa for the rest of the news. Good evening.
Thank you, Dibabari. The Federal Ministry of Agriculture has confirmed the outbreak of African swine fever in the country. Chief Veterinary Officer of the Federation, Olanirun Alabi, in an exclusive interview with NTA says steps are being taken by government officials to curtail and stop the spread of the disease. Musa Baba Aliyu has the details.
In the last few weeks, we are beginning to record increases in the number of outbreaks, which of course is not peculiar to Nigeria.
The African swine virus was first noticed in Lagos State in a farm located at Okearo, affecting more than 20,000 pigs. The virus later spread to Ogun and Abia states. Even though it is not the first time Nigeria is experiencing the outbreak, farmers are afraid that this time around it will be hard on their socioeconomic well-being. The Chief Veterinary Officer of the Federation says the disease is harmless to humans, but can kill pigs within few days.
The disease has no vaccination. There's no vaccine for it. So the best control for African swine fever is putting in place a very good biosecurity program, which of course most of these farmers we have tried in several ways to create awareness on how to put biosecurity on their farms to prevent African swine fever.
The federal government has already deployed her veterinary officers with a view to curtail the spread of the disease. In Abuja, Musa Baba Aliyu, NTA News.
The Nigeria Center for Disease Control has reported 573 new cases of COVID-19 at about midnight of 15th June 2020. The breakdown of the figures shows that Lagos State has 216 new cases, Rivers has 103, Oyo 68, Edo 40, Kano 21, Gombe has 20, while the FCT has 17 new cases. Others are Delta 13 new cases, Plateau and Bauchi states have 12 each, Niger has 10, Kebbi 9, Ogun and Ondo 8 each, Abia State has 7, Nasarawa 5, Borno, Kwara, Benue and Anambra states have 1 new case each. As at now, Nigeria recorded 16,658 cases of COVID-19, with 5,349 of them discharged, while 424 patients died. Kaduna State government has directed the removal of roadblocks at the various boundaries of the state and has ordered relevant agencies to dismantle and relocate the barricades that enforce the ban on interstate travel. In a statement issued by the Special Advisor on Media and Communication, Mr. Muyiwa Adekeye, the state government said boundary patrols undertaken by state government officials as part of the quarantine regulations have also stopped forthwith. The statement adds that the prohibition of interstate travel by the federal government as part of COVID-19 containment efforts has largely been observed and breached by the people mandated to enforce it. These decisions are based on the recommendation of the State Task Force on COVID-19 following a review of the situation on the state boundaries. As the state emerges from partial lockdown, the state government has received reports of persistent extortion of vehicles conveying essential goods by some security officials, thus complicating an already challenging period. The special advisor said that the State Task Force on COVID-19 noted that the prohibition of interstate travel has been consistently implemented only when the state government officials have been deployed to the entry points. Therefore, the Kaduna State government has directed that roadblocks at state boundaries be dismantled henceforth. The only roadblocks authorized within the state are those that are mounted to enforce the 8 p.m. to 5 a.m. curfew. Nigeria is to commence full digitization of ports across the country in March 2021. Executive Secretary, Nigerian Shippers Council, Hassan Bello, who made this known while disclosing the post-COVID plans in the sector, said this is in view of the lessons learned in reducing human interaction, efficiency and high productivity. Oyinaya Kaluoka reports.
Port operations continued during the lockdown in Nigeria as the country tackles COVID-19. The Executive Secretary of the Nigerian Shippers Council said the maritime industry learned some lessons and it is now time for inward search and reflection. Technology, he says, plays a crucial role in the way forward.
We want to get 90%, I said it, 90% digital by March next year. We're already about 60% average. So it's just to put it up. By that time we'll have the cargo tracking node, we hope. Shippers Council must drive efficiency at the ports.
With the maritime sector contributing about 2 trillion naira to the country's GDP rather than the expected 7 trillion naira annually, the council called on the Central Bank of Nigeria to support the development of the maritime industry.
But here is an industry that will give oil a run for its money if properly managed.
The Executive Secretary disclosed that as a result of the lesson learned due to COVID-19, Nigerian ports are working towards 24 hours weekly operations, multi-modal operations and delivery of cargoes, integrating all key players and provision of a national carrier. Oyinaya Kaluoka, NTA News.
Zinret in Jos has some reports for us. Hello, Zinret.
Hello, Ifoma, and thanks for joining us in Jos. As countries strive to recover losses accrued due to the COVID-19 pandemic, food security and sufficiency is one of the major areas of focus for government. To this end, Deputy Speaker, House of Representatives, Ahmed Idris Maje, distributed another batch of agricultural implements to farmers in Wase to boost mechanized farming in Plateau State. Kemfet Biangton tells us more.
The coronavirus pandemic, currently ravaging the globe, has affected world economies, Nigeria's included, and caused major setbacks to agricultural activities, threatening the food security and sufficiency drive of government. To consolidate on efforts earlier made by the Deputy Speaker of the House of Representatives, Ahmed Idris Maje, to revamp farming in the state with the distribution of tractors, cartons of herbicides and pesticides with knapsacks were distributed to different wards of Wase local government area. 80 individuals also received motorcycles and sewing machines as economic empowerment to cushion the effects of the pandemic.
I believe what he is doing can be able to solve some problems within the society. Brought in 4 tractors. These 4 tractors can be able to produce food that we can be able to feed plateau.
The Deputy Speaker further urged beneficiaries to reciprocate the gesture by using implements provided to boost agriculture and the economy of the state. From Bashar district of Wasi local government area, Comfort Biangten, NTA News.
Empowering women towards self-reliance and greater productivity in the face of the dwindling challenge posed by COVID-19 is a priority of the federal government. Minister of Women Affairs and Social Development, Dame Pauline Talent, said this in a message at the distribution of palliatives to women and other vulnerable groups in the southern zone of Plateau State. Indeyang and Debagang reports.
With the gradual reopening of the country, the concern is how to bring the Nigerian economy back on track and how those considered vulnerable members of the society are taken care of, especially as it relates to food. It is this that led the Minister of Women Affairs, Dame Pauline Talent, to distribute assorted palliatives to various women groups and youth in Shandam, Mikan, and Kwampan local government areas of Plateau State. These groups are to ensure poorest of the poor amongst them are reached with the palliatives.
We're overwhelmed. We don't even know how to start thanking her.
This palliative that she brought, may God continually bless her.
The minister represented said beyond the palliatives, the ministry is determined to ensure that women and youth are positioned for greater productivity towards sustainable development.
In pursuit of seeing that come to reality, she partnered and collaborated with the Ministry of Education. And she has been working tirelessly to see that not only is the girl child sent to school, but she is retained in school until completion.
This will give them the strength to also go out and fight to stand on their own.
This will go a long way to assist these poor women to come back to their normal way of life.
Prayers were offered for the socio-economic development of the country and an end to the coronavirus pandemic. From Shandam, Indenyan and Debagang, NTA News.
That does it from Jos. It's back to Ifoma for what's left of the news.
Many thanks, Zinreds. We now take another break on Nationwide. More stories when we return. This future, it is often said, belongs to the youths. For as many times as he met youth leaders, President Buhari has said to them again and again that we are fixing the ailing state to hand it over to you. It then amounts to a grave mistake for this group of otherwise promising northern stars to dissociate themselves from Democracy Day and in effect decognizing democracy as a chosen system of government. In a statement signed by the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Media and Publicity, Garba Shehu, the President said Nigeria recognizes Democracy Day because for many decades since independence, the fight for the right for Nigerians to choose their own government in their own name was not complete. A prominent citizen of the country, Chief MKO Abiola, died trying to do just this. Yet, when groups such as the Coalition of Northern Groups, CNG, put out statements claiming that Democracy Day holds no purpose and the government somehow wishes for the northern states to be struggling, it is embarrassing not for the government but for the group, its members and their sponsors. They should thank their stars that we are operating a truly democratic government where the rights of free speech are guaranteed and protected. Similarly, no government has done more to foster democracy and freedom of speech in Nigeria than the current administration. Equally, the fact that the government is issuing this statement in response to this message is a statement that today Nigeria is a country where disagreements can be aired publicly through the press, not through less gentlemanly methods used in the past. We hope that CNG will consider the facts and reconsider the unhelpful and inaccurate message their statements contain when issuing them in future. And now sports. English Premier League set to resume on Wednesday.